"Certainly, child. Come, sit beside me. Let the wind carry away your burdens for a moment, and listen not with the ears, but with the stillness beneath your ribs. For what I am about to share is not just wisdom, but medicine for the soul. The mind, though unseen, is not untouched. It is a sacred patch of earth hidden behind the forehead, and each thought you tend to is a seed. Most never realize this. They walk through life with furrowed brows, wondering why thorns pierce their peace, unaware they themselves have sown those very thorns with careless thoughts. You see, child, no field grows without permission. Even neglect is a form of permission. And so the question becomes, what are you allowing to grow inside you? From the moment you rise to the time your eyelids close, you are planting. Every worry, every judgment, every moment of gratitude, every whisper of kindness, all of them fall like seeds upon your inner soil. The heart, like gentle rain, nourishes them. The repetition of attention, like sunlight, brings them to life. And then, one day, you wake up, not knowing who you've become, but the garden knows. It only grew what you fed it. Let me tell you a tale, one passed from the lips of silence through the breath of the old ones. There once was a man who cursed the world for being unkind. He raged at strangers, condemned fate, and feared the fall of every leaf. "Why is the world so cruel?" he cried. But when the silence of age fell upon him, he sat beside a quiet stream, and there he saw his reflection, a face twisted not by time, but by years of bitter sowing. The cruelty he felt was but the echo of his own harvest. Now listen, not with urgency, but with reverence. Your mind listens to every word you repeat to yourself. It is not a critic, it is a creator. Say, "I am worthless," and the roots of despair will curl deep. Say, "I am enough," and the blossoms of peace will rise like morning sun. But this is not a matter of simply thinking positive. No, that is surface gardening. I speak of depth. I speak of watching the thought before it even becomes a word. This is the path of presence. Presence, child, is the sacred hoe in your hand, the tool with which you clear away the old, lifeless weeds that have taken root in your absence. Most people live in exile from their own thoughts. They wake, eat, walk, scroll, and sleep, never pausing to tend the wild garden within. And so, the weeds of doubt, fear, and resentment grow strong, unchallenged. To be present is to stop mid-thought and say, "Is this worthy of being planted?" Each time you notice a thought, truly notice, without feeding it or fighting it, you begin to reclaim the garden. This is not easy work. The mind, like a wild forest, resists control. But you are not here to control. You are here to remember that you are the gardener. Let me give you a gentle exercise, one taught to me by my master when I was young and arrogant with my thoughts. Each morning, before the world enters your ears, sit in silence. Place your hand over your heart. Breathe deep like the trees do when no one is watching. And ask yourself, what do I wish to grow today? Do not rush for answers. Let them come like clouds, soft and slow. Perhaps you wish to plant patience or clarity or compassion. And when the storms of the day arrive as they always do. Remind yourself, "Ah, yes, I planted peace today. Let me not nourish the weed of anger." And what of the weeds already sown, the ones that haunt you in the night, whispering regret and feeding fear? Child, even the oldest weed can be pulled with gentle hands. You do not need to curse it or blame it. See it, acknowledge it. And then, with the still strength of awareness, choose to plant anew. There is no shame in the weeds that grow. All of us, even the wise, have thorns. The secret lies not in never planting them, but in knowing when to uproot and begin again. The more often you return to presence, the more fertile your garden becomes. A quiet joy will rise in you, not loud like fireworks, but soft like moonlight on a still pond. You will begin to notice how anger no longer takes root, how fear no longer flowers. In its place, serenity will grow, and gratitude will blossom without effort.
And here is the miracle, child. The garden within reflects the world without. As you tend to your inner soil, your outer world will begin to change. Not because the stars realigned, but because you began to walk as one who carries peace. And peace is contagious, like the scent of jasmine on a warm night. You may not see the fruit of your planting right away. That is the test. The seed does not shout when it sprouts. It simply reaches, day after day, quietly, patiently, until one day there is shade where once there was dust. There is fragrance where once there was fear. This is the way, the ancient way, not of force, but of attention, not of mastery, but of return. Return again and again to this truth. You become what you think, not overnight, but inevitably, as night becomes dawn, as seed becomes flower. So be gentle with your thoughts, child. They are the architects of your destiny, the quiet sculptors of your soul's temple. Now breathe. Let the old thoughts fall like autumn leaves. And when the sun rises tomorrow, may you plant something worth blooming. Child, come. Sit once more. Let the wind cool your brow, and the silence wrap around you like a soft robe. We continue, as rivers continue after the bend, always flowing back to the sea of truth. This time, I must speak to you, not of seeds, but of the rhythm by which they grow, the sacred beat of repetition. Let me tell you a story, as the old ones told me under the hush of candlelight. There was once a humble stone cutter who lived by the edge of the mountains. Each morning before the sun rose, he would place his hands together and whisper the same prayer, quietly, without fail. Let me be strong like the stone and patient like the rain. He was not a man of wealth nor fame. His clothes were simple, his days repetitive. But years passed, and those who came to know him began to say, there is something unshakable in his presence, something calm like the mountains he carves. They carved. What they did not see was that the stone-cutter's prayer had become more than words. It had become his identity. Not because he chanted once, but because he whispered the same truth day after day, year after year, until it wove itself into the marrow of his being. The repetition of thought had carved him, more surely than he carved the mountain. This, child, is the law of repetition. Understand it well. It is as constant as the moon's return, as powerful as the tide. A single thought may pass like a breeze, but a repeated thought becomes wind, and wind shapes mountains. You may think you are your body, your memories, your face in the mirror, but deeper than all that, you are what you repeatedly tell yourself. Not just aloud, but in the secret corners of your mind. In the hush between breaths, That internal voice, spoken often enough, becomes the scaffolding of yourself. Repeat the thought, "I am not enough," and watch how your shoulders slump, how your spirit folds. Say it enough times, and your entire life bends around that belief. You begin to reject love, opportunity, even joy, not because it isn't offered, but because your identity refuses to let it in. On the other hand, whisper to yourself, "I am learning, I am growing, I am worthy of peace." Say it enough times, even when you don't believe it, and like the stonecutter, you begin to embody the truth. Slowly, gently, unstoppably. Thoughts, like beads on a mala, become sacred not because they are uttered once, but because they are returned to, again and again. It is not in the power of a single affirmation that transformation occurs. It is in the devotion to return, to repeat, to inscribe. But repetition, dear one, is not always holy. Just as the mantra can elevate, it can also enslave. Many people live under the tyranny of their own repeated thoughts, thoughts they did not choose but inherited from fear, shame, or the careless words of others. A mother says to her child, "You're always so slow." The child hears it once, then again and again. Years pass. The mother's voice becomes the child's inner voice. And now, even in the absence of criticism, the child whispers to herself, "I must be slow, I must be behind." This, child, is how identities are forged. Not by truth, but by repetition. So ask yourself this sacred question. What do I say to myself when no one is listening? That is your mirror. That is your mantra. And if you do not like its shape, you must begin the gentle work of recarving. How? With intention, with presence, with practice. First, listen. Do not rush to replace negative thoughts. That is like painting over mold. No, become the witness. Hear your thoughts as you would the wind, curiously, without judgment. Notice the ones that come back again and again, the ones you whisper in moments of doubt or solitude. Second, interrupt the old rhythm. When you catch a thought that no longer serves your growth, pause, breathe. Then, gently insert a new phrase, not to fight the old one, but to offer a different path. I'm always anxious. Pause. Breathe. Whisper. I am learning how to be calm. I never get it right. Pause. Breathe. Whisper. I am improving every day. This is not delusion. This is devotion. Devotion to becoming who you truly are beneath the dust of old stories. Some days you will not believe the new thought. That is all right. The body does not strengthen in a single stretch. The soul does not shift in a single whisper. Keep returning. Keep repeating. The garden of your mind learns through rhythm. There is power in the spoken word, child. Even if you are alone, especially when you are alone. Speak your new truth aloud. Let it vibrate in your chest. Let it echo in your room. The universe hears, yes, but more importantly, you hear. You hear. Write your new mantras. Carry them with you. Speak them while you walk, while you cook, while you lie in bed. Make them part of your breath until you no longer have to remember, because they have remembered you. Do not wait for belief to come first. That is the great misunderstanding. Belief is the fruit, not the seed. Repetition is the watering. With time, belief blooms on its own. The stonecutter did not feel strong when he first whispered his prayer, but he kept whispering, and strength, like stone, formed layer by layer. So choose your mantras with care, child. They are not small. They are not silly. They are chisels. They carve your reality. I am peaceful. I am enough. I am still becoming. I forgive myself. I deserve joy. I walk with love. Say them. Return to them. Become them. That is the secret. That is the way. Now rest your eyes. Let the rhythm settle into your bones. When you rise again, may your first word be a blessing, and may that blessing be your becoming. Shall I prepare the next step, child, the next echo of the path? Just nod, and I shall walk it with you. Ah, dear child, come sit beside me under this old fig tree where the air is thick with silence and truth. Let me speak to you not from the tongue, but from the soul. For today you must learn the secret path where thought meets emotion and where becoming truly begins. You see, many of the world's seekers come to the edge of change, clutching books, quotes, and intentions, thinking that thinking alone shall build a new destiny. They try to change their lives with thoughts as dry as autumn leaves. But life does not answer to dry thought. No, child. Life listens only when the thought is soaked in feeling. Emotion is the water. Without water, a seed cannot become a tree. Without emotion, a thought cannot become your life. The novice recites, I am worthy, with trembling lips, but a heart still full of shame, and so the soil remains untouched. But the master? The master closes their eyes, and not only says the word, they feel it, like a fire in the chest, like tears just behind the eyes. The master lets the feeling rise until even the bones remember. I am worthy. So listen closely, child. Your mind may be the garden, your thought the seed, but unless emotion waters it, nothing grows. Emotion is the invitation to the universe, the music that stirs the winds of reality. If thought is the spell, then emotion is its chant. Now you ask, how do we feel what we think? How can we awaken the silent garden? Let me teach you the sacred art of emotional alignment. Close your eyes. Think not with the forehead, but with the belly, the chest. Feel what you desire as though it is already yours, not just imagined, but remembered. Want peace? Sit and feel what peace feels like. Want love? Feel its warmth dance on your skin. If you want to change your life, begin by creating that change inside your nervous system. Imagine this. A man walks around the fire saying, I am strong. But inside, he is full of doubt. His words are like stones skipping across the surface of water. They make ripples, but never sink deep enough to change anything. But when that same man stands tall, breath steady, spine aligned, and says, I am strong, from a place of rooted certainty, the earth itself listens. It is not just about speaking belief, child. It is about becoming belief. Now let us speak of 3 sacred waters you must learn to pour into your garden.
gratitude, forgiveness, and confidence. Gratitude is the water that turns any moment into a miracle. When you wake and feel grateful for breath, for sky, for ache and hunger, you turn even emptiness into treasure. When you pair your thoughts of joy, abundance, healing with sincere gratitude, your heart becomes a beacon, and reality answers. Forgiveness is the rain that clears poisoned soil. Many plant seeds of peace in gardens filled with the acid of resentment. But no matter how beautiful the seed, it cannot grow there. You must weep if needed. Release what clings to you like thorns. Not for them, for you. So your soil may breathe again. And confidence. Confidence is not arrogance, child. Confidence is a quiet knowing. It is the emotion of alignment. When your heart agrees with your thought, when your body and breath echo, yes, this is true, then you move through life not as a question, but as an answer. Now, let us enter the practice. Each morning, sit still, breathe deep, and feel before you think. Ask your heart, what am I ready to feel today? Let emotion rise naturally, like sunlight warming a stone. Then pair your affirmations with sensation. Don't just say, I am healing. Close your eyes. Imagine the soft gold light wrapping your wounds. Feel the ease in your chest. Smile, even if the tears fall. Let yourself believe it like you once believed the moon followed you. Visualize, not from the mind alone, but from the belly, from the ribs, from the sacred tension behind your eyes. This is not mere visualization. This is emotional memory of the future. Yes, child, memory of the future. See yourself already there. Feel it. Taste it. Weep in its arms. And then return to the world, not chasing it, but carrying it. You become the prophecy of your thought, because it already lives in you. This is the alchemy of emotion, to feel what has not yet come until it must come. And when doubt visits, and it will, do not banish it. Invite it in like an old guest. Offer it tea, then ask it gently why it came. Often, doubt is simply the echo of forgotten pain. Let your emotion answer. Let your breath reassure it. And with time, you will notice doubt visits less. Remember this. The garden does not grow because the seed shouted. It grows because the rain kissed it, the sun touched it, and the soil welcomed it. So too must your thoughts be kissed by feeling. Let every thought pass through your heart. Let every affirmation be sung by your breath. Let every desire be tasted in your blood. That is how you water the garden. That is how you bloom before the world sees it. Now go, child. Take your watering can of emotion, return to the soil of your mind, and tend to it with devotion. For the garden only answers those who love it deeply. You are becoming, and that becoming is sacred, child. Even the purest spring may be poisoned if a single drop of foulness is poured into it each day. You may toil faithfully in the garden of your mind. You may plant seeds of wisdom, water them with feeling, and tend to them with patient devotion. But if you leave your garden gates open to the world without discernment, if you let every traveler toss their weeds into your soil, what do you think will grow there? It is not enough to master the inner world while the outer world remains unchecked. Let me speak to you of vigilance. The sacred practice of guarding the gate of your mind. There is no such thing as a harmless influence. Every word, every sound, every image that enters through your eyes or ears becomes a guest at your inner hearth. Some guests are gentle and uplifting. Others are thieves in robes of laughter or song, slipping into your home to rearrange your thoughts, sow doubt, or feed your fear. You see, the mind does not know how to reject what it absorbs unconsciously. If you surround yourself with noise, chaos, anger, mockery, these become the texture of your thoughts, the flavor of your feelings. Just as a monk chooses his temple and sweeps it daily, so too must you choose your surroundings. Not only where you live or work, but what you consume. If you watch cruelty, you risk becoming cynical. If you listen to bitterness, you may become harsh. If you walk among those who gossip, you may begin to trade in rumors, not because you are weak, child, but because you are human. Even the strongest tree leans in the direction of the wind that blows most often. So be mindful of the winds. This is not a call to isolation, no. Even the lotus grows surrounded by mud. But it is a call to discernment. Let us now speak of 3 layers of guarding: what you consume, who you allow near, and how you respond. First, what you consume. You must be intentional with what you watch, read, listen to. Is your music feeding a calm heart or stirring your storms? Are your eyes scrolling through images that inspire or that compare, that shame, that feed your hunger without nourishment? Ask yourself, when you put your phone down or turn off the screen, do I feel more peaceful or more restless? Let this be your daily compass. If a source makes you feel less whole, it does not belong at your gate. Second, who you allow near. You do not owe your energy to all who demand it. Not everyone who knocks deserves entry. Some carry pain like torches seeking to ignite yours. Others will mock your peace because they have lost their own. A wise monk once said, "Sit with those who fan your flame, not those who dampen your light." That means you must learn to observe without judgment, but also without attachment. You can have compassion for all, but communion with few. Choose companions who remind you of who you are when the world makes you forget. If you cannot find such people yet, sit alone, for solitude in silence is far better than company in noise. Third, how you respond. Even when you guard the gate, winds will slip through. A harsh comment, a loud room, a moment of temptation. Do not panic. Remember, a single weed does not ruin a garden unless you let it root. Your power lies not just in prevention, but in your response. You may choose to acknowledge, then release, to say to the thought, "Ah, I see you, but I do not feed you." This is a sacred skill, child, the ability to hold peace while chaos knocks. The mind is not a fortress built of stone, it is a temple built of choice. Each moment you decide to pause before reacting, to breathe before absorbing, to turn inward before being pulled outward, you lay another stone in that temple. And soon,
you will find that peace is not a place you visit. It is a room within you, furnished by your attention, guarded by your silence, illuminated by your discipline. The world will not stop speaking, but you, dear one, may learn to stop listening to all of it. There are sacred practices for guarding the gate. 1. Begin each morning in stillness. Before the world offers you its noise, offer yourself your breath. In that silence, the garden prepares for the day. 2. Take inventory. Observe what influences made their way into you today. Like a keeper of books, ask, "What did I borrow? What must I now return?" 3. Curate your surroundings like a sacred space. If music plays, let it soothe the soul. If voices speak, let them be kind. If silence falls, welcome it as an old friend. 4. Set boundaries without guilt. It is not selfish to preserve your temple. It is holy. You are not meant to be everything to everyone. You were meant to be whole. 5. When negativity enters, do not resist with force. Breathe, observe, release. Say within, "This is not mine to keep." And 6. Remember, the energy of your space shapes the spirit of your days. Keep your home gentle. Keep your company honest. Keep your rituals sacred. As you do this, the world will not change, but your experience of the world will. A peaceful life is not the result of luck. It is the result of layered choices, and each choice is a petal on the bloom of your becoming. So, tend to your gates, child. Sweep them each dawn. Bless them each dusk. And should you forget for a day, or even many, do not shame yourself. Return. The garden is patient. The gate waits for its keeper, and the temple always remains within. Come closer, child. Sit beneath the shadow of this Bodhi tree with me, and let me offer you the last and perhaps the most sacred of all truths I have gathered across lifetimes of silence. Becoming is not forward movement. It is inward stillness, not a path to walk, but a veil to lift. All that you yearn to be, wise, peaceful, powerful, free, you already are. You are not chasing the light. You are the light, cloaked for a time in the robes of forgetting. This final teaching is not to fill you with more knowledge, but to strip away what you are not. Let us return to remembering. In this world, many chase after wholeness like a butterfly they hope to catch. They run from book to book, lover to lover, country to country, all hoping to become something greater than they believe themselves to be. But transformation, true transformation, is not a layering on, it is a peeling off. You do not need to become divine. You must only remember that you already are. Let me tell you of a child born with a radiant jewel in their pocket. As they grew, they forgot it was there. They begged others for glittering stones, wandered far and wide seeking treasure, suffered hunger and loneliness and doubt, never realizing that the very thing they sought was pressed close to their heart all along. You are that child. And the jewel, that is your original nature, the silent flame of being that no pain can destroy, no shame can diminish, no past can stain. Your work is not to become that light, but to remove the falsehoods that say you are anything less. When the mind is not aligned with this inner truth, It clings to illusions. It tells stories like, I will be worthy when I achieve this. I will be peaceful when others approve of me. I will be whole when I heal everything. But let me ask you, when the moon is covered by clouds, does it cease to shine? No, child. It simply waits, unchanged, until the winds clear the sky. Your true self is like the moon. Thoughts, wounds, doubts, these are passing clouds. If you do not mistake them for the sky itself, you shall see your inner light more clearly.
Let us now practice the sacred act of remembering. It begins in stillness. Sit with me now. Breathe. Inhale slowly through the nose. Feel the breath like wind brushing across water. Exhale, and imagine it carrying away all names you've borrowed. Failure, unworthy, broken, not enough. Again. Inhale. Return. Exhale. Release. Now say quietly within, I am whole. I am the witness. I am the light behind the veil. Do not say this as a wish, but as a recognition. You are not practicing to become better. You are remembering the truth you once knew, before the world taught you to forget. There is a secret I shall now reveal. The highest thought you can think is the thought aligned with who you already are. When you declare within, I am peace, you are not casting a spell into the future. You are lifting dust from the mirror. When you think, I am enough, you are not manufacturing confidence. You are awakening an ancient memory. This is why mantras hold power, not because they create something new, but because they remind the soul of something old, something eternal. And now, a word of caution. The ego will resist this truth. It thrives on striving. It does not wish to remember because its identity depends on forgetting. It will say, this is too simple. You must fix more things first. You cannot possibly be divine. Smile gently when these voices arise. They are the final winds before stillness. Let them pass. Your only task is this. When you catch yourself falling into the trance of lack, pause. Return to breath. Speak remembrance. I am already love. I am already whole. I am already home. The path of becoming is not a ladder upward, but a circle inward. One day you will wake and not feel the urgency to prove yourself. Not because you have accomplished more, but because you have remembered. You are not your name. You are not your body. You are not even your mind. You are the still presence behind all of these. The light that witnesses the waves, but is not the water. And from that place, thought becomes sacred. Thought becomes a celebration, not a correction. So now, child, let this be your final meditation. Close your eyes, breathe gently, visualize yourself not as a seeker, but as a silent flame, a lotus on still waters, an old soul returning home. Say within, I do not need to become, I only need to remember. I am already the peace I seek. I am the seed and the bloom, the question and the answer. And when the world tries to tell you otherwise, when it insists that you are not enough, bow kindly and remember, that voice is not yours. The truth is quiet. It speaks in stillness. And in this moment, that truth says, welcome home. You have always been whole.